This is the second part of a tutorial on sampling in the Sema default language. In the previous tutorial we looked at how to trigger samples using audio signals. In this tutorial we'll look at how to loop and slice them using the looper. In Sema, previously, if you're going to trigger a sample so that it plays once, you use the notation of a backslash with its name and send it some sort of audio signal to trigger it. If we're using the looper, then we use a different notation. We use a bar at the start of the sample name instead of a backslash. Let's have a look at an example from the tutorial. Maybe first of all, let's actually listen to the sample before we loop it. So if we want to loop it, trigger it, we could send an impulse once every 2 seconds, and then we can use a backslash and the name of the sample. And let's just listen to that line here. Ignore the other one. So now for reference, we know what that sample sounds like. Now let's try it through the looper. The looper takes 2 parameters. The first one is a trigger, and the second one is a position. And what it does is it continuously loops a sample, and every time it receives a trigger, in this parameter here, it re-triggers the sample from the offset specified here. So if we just put a 0 here, it will never re-trigger and just carry on looping. So let's have a listen to that. So we're just hearing this passenger train 2 sample looping forever. What happens is if we want to start re-triggering it. So we could send an impulse here. If I send 2 impulses per second, what will happen every time it receives an impulse here, it will reset the sample position to 0. Let's just send that to the output. So now we can hear something slightly different. And if I increase the speed of this impulse, it will increase the frequency at which the sample is re-triggered. So as you might imagine, this sort of processing could be useful for some slicing up breakbeats, for example. Now let's have a look at this second parameter here. If I choose a different number here, every time we receive an impulse here, a trigger, we will replay the sample from halfway through. So we get a slightly different effect if I change this number. This number doesn't have to be fixed. It could be, for example, a control signal. So this phaser here rises from 0 up to 1 over 10 seconds, so it will change the point at which the sample is re-triggered in a 10-second loop. And of course, you don't have to just stick to this sample. You can try lots of other different samples that are all available if you have a look in this samples folder on GitHub to see their names. Of course, this is only going to really work better with the longer samples. Let's have a look at one of those, Control 5. We could try this click sample. Something else you could try is, for example, putting noise here. So the noise function, what that does is it produces a random number. So twice a second it will play this, re-trigger this sample from a random place. Let's hear what that sounds like. So that is the basics of looping and slicing samples in Sema, in the default language.